Okay, because my computer's crashed, the program crashed that I was recording on. This is the second part of the book. It says Henry no longer sang. He couldn't hum. He went to work, and at night he ate supper and went to bed. Henry tried to think of happy times, but all he could see were the carts carrying away everyone he loved. Henry knew he would never see his family again. If Henry wasn't humming, was he happy or was he sad?
Sad.
He was sad. Okay, let's see what happens next. Turn the page. Many weeks passed. One morning, Henry heard singing. A little bird flew out of a tree into this open sky, and Henry thought about being free. But how? As he lifted a crate, he knew the answer. He asked James and Dr. Smith to help him. Dr. Smith was a white man who thought slavery was wrong. He met early the next day at an empty warehouse. Henry arrived with a box. I will mail myself to a place where there are no slaves, he said. James stared at the box, then at Henry. What if you cough and someone hears you? I will cover my mouth and hope, Henry said. Do you think that mailing himself to a place where there are no slaves is a good idea?
No.
No, but he wants to be free.
Yes.
So is it a good idea?
Yes.
Yes, it's a good idea. Do you know what being a slave is? What that means? Being a slave means that you have to do what somebody else tells you and you don't get paid any money for it, but instead you get to live in their house, but you have to do what they say. Kind of a bum deal.
Rude.
That's rude. You're right. It says Dr. Smith wrote on the box to William H. Johnson, Arch Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Henry would deliver to his friend in Pennsylvania. Then he printed on the crate in big letters, this side up with care. What does that mean? Side up with care. What does that mean?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, well, let's see if we can figure it out from the next page or so. And I'll ask you again when we get that far. Again, Henry needed an excuse to stay home, or the work boss would think he had run off. James pointed to Henry's sore finger, but Henry knew it wasn't bad enough. He opened a bottle of oil of Vitarol. No, cried James. Henry poured it on his hand. It burned his skin to the bone. Now the boss would have to let him stay home. Dr. Smith bandages Henry's hand. They arranged to meet the next morning at 4 o'clock. Ooh, do you suppose that hurt?
Yes.
Did he make a good choice to stay home?
No.
You don't think he made a good choice. Okay, well, let's see. Says the sun was not up yet when Henry climbed into the box. Ready, he said. James nailed down the lid. Dr. Smith and James drove to the station. The railway clerk tipped the box over and nailed a paper to the bottom. Dr. Smith begged the clerk to be careful, but they didn't listen. They threw the box into the luggage car. Why do you think now it said this side up?
Because he's sitting.
Oh, because Henry's sitting in the box? Okay. Oh, now look at him. Is he sitting very comfortable?
No. He's squished.
He's all squished. It says hours passed. Henry was lifted up and thrown again, upside down. He heard waves splashing. This must be the steamboat headed for Washington, D.C. The ship rode smoothly, but Henry was still upside down. Blood rushed to his head, and his face got hot, and his eyes ached, and he thought his head was going to burst. He was afraid to move. Somebody might hear him. Do you think? Was the crate that Henry was in handled with care? Did they do a very good job of? No. Nope. Says, I'm tired of standing, somebody said. Why don't you move that box and we'll sit on it? Said another. Henry held his breath. Could they be talking about his box? Henry was pushed. The box scraped the deck. Now he was on his right side, then on his left. Oh, and then suddenly he was
On the right
He
side
was-
up.
right side up. You are right. You suppose he felt better?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are right. He did. What do you think is in here? Said the first man. Mail, I guess, said the other. I am mail, thought Henry, but not the kind they imagined. Henry was carried off the steamboat and placed in a railroad car, this time head up. He fell asleep to the rattling song of the train wheels. So where do you think Henry's at now?
On the boat.
He was on the boat. Then where did he end up at? On a what?
Train wheels.
On a train. What do you think the men thought was in the box? What did they think was in the box?
Mail.
Mail. Says Henry woke up to loud knocking. Henry, are you all right in there? All right, he answered. The cover was pried open and Henry stretched and stood up. 4 men smiled at him and said, Welcome to Philadelphia. At last, Henry had a birthday, March 30th, 1849, his first day of freedom. And from that day on, he also had a middle name. Everyone called him Henry Box Brown. Where did Henry get mailed to?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Do you know when his birthday is now?
Yeah.
When?
March 30th, 1849.
Okay. And since this is the back of the book, and we would have gone through and talked about what this was at the beginning, what this talked about at the beginning of the book. And since now everybody gets the chance to do this. It says, where would you ship yourself to find freedom? Write the address of a name or the place of or someplace outside on the box. Then write a note on the paper why you want to go there.
Beach.
Oh, you'd go to the beach? Well, who's going to be there to open your box?
I would kick it open.
Oh, you would kick it open. Okay. And why do you want to go to the beach?
Now I can have some fun with some sea animals.
Oh, you want to go have fun with the sea animals. This is my little helper. She would be my little granddaughter. One of them. So she likes to come over and help Grandma do homework, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know, but I gotta figure out how to make it pause. Other than just exit it.
And now you probably laughed out then everything.
No, let's hope I didn't lose it or I will be very mad.
Yes, you did. Probably. Just don't know. No. We've got to redo it all.
No.